It's incredible how a college elective could change your life. Back in 1989, Brian Leaf was a freshman studying business, and it was a yoga class that set him in a new direction. Brian Leaf is the director of Holistic Tutoring Center in Western Massachusetts and is the author of 11 books, including his most recent, Misadventures of a Garden State Yogi, My Humble Quest to Heal My Colitis. How do you say that, Brian?
Colitis.
Colitis, calm my ADD, and find the key to happiness. That's quite a title.
It's a mouthful. Yeah.
Well, tell us about the book a little bit.
Well, so the book is a memoir. It covers about a 13-year period from when I was living in New Jersey and I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis,
Okay.
Which is like an ulcer in the colon. And I was very sick. It was no fun. And I was very stressed out. I was very intense. And then I went off to Georgetown University and I found yoga.
Were you hooked the first class, or did it take a little while?
I was. It was almost like, I'd say it was like the same feeling, honestly, as the day I met my wife. It was like, it was just like I knew I had found something that was me.
Really?
Like it was like I was home all of a sudden. Yeah.
All right. Now in the book we talk about 8 keys to happiness. Let's go through some of them. What's number 1? How do you start off?
Well, so basically, what happened is, first of all, I would recommend anybody write a memoir. Everybody should do it, because it was like writing a dissertation in my own life. It was like I reflected back on all this time, and I noticed the different phases in my life and the different healings that happened. And so those are the different keys. So the first one was the yoga.
Okay.
Because one day I got into the yoga and I was struggling with the colitis very badly, and I was on a bunch of different meds and they weren't working. And the doctors were talking about surgery and a colostomy bag and all kinds of very scary things, to anybody, let alone a 20-year-old.
Sure.
And then one day I made this crazy leap that the days where I did yoga, it made my symptoms better.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Would you say it cured it completely?
Well, all right, so first I made that leap, and then I went on this, and that was a huge leap for me to make. I mean, now it makes total sense to me. But at the time, I'd never heard of the mind-body connection or anything. So I decided, I don't know, I'm grateful that I thought of it. I don't know how I did, but I decided to, just on a lark, to self-medicate with yoga. So I started doing yoga 5 times a day, just for 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
And 3 days later, the symptoms were gone.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and 2 years later, the symptoms came back.
Okay.
Colitis is the type of disease that goes into remission and then comes back. And so two years later, it came back, and this time I caught it right away. And I just jumped straight into
You did the yoga constantly again?
Yeah, and it went away, and that was it.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to some of these other keys to happiness. You say meditate at least 3 pieces of wisdom?
No, okay, so there's meditate.
These are separate ones.
Yeah,
Got
that's
it. Okay,
huge. Meditate is awesome. Meditating on wisdom would be good. But so there's meditate, and then there's apply at least 3 pieces of Ayurvedic wisdom to your
what
daily
is that
schedule.
exactly?
Okay, so Ayurveda is like the medical side of yoga, like the therapeutic side of yoga. And the way that came about, so the subtitle, which you talked about, the mouthful, is Cure My Colitis, Calm My ADD.
Sure.
And lots of people really suffer with, people don't talk about it because it's not pretty, but a lot of people suffer with, digestive disorders, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and colitis and things like that. So, I really wanted to write the book to share what had happened to me with people. And it doesn't have to be yoga, it could be other exercises or modalities. But anyway, so then the Ayurveda comes in, because 9 years later I was seeing a therapist, and she suggested that maybe I had ADD. And I was really angry. The way you get angry when someone tells you something you know is true. Usually it's your mother. And I was really upset. And so I dove in to see if I could find something that had cured me like yoga had cured me. And that's when I found the Ayurveda.
Wow. Now, how does the ADD play into it? Did the yoga fix that as well?
Okay, so I was really upset about the ADD, but I knew she was right. I knew that that's the thing that had kept me from, that was the thing that had kept me from settling down in a place, in a relationship, in a job. And I was always moving and distracted. And so when she suggested I had ADD, first I was upset, and then when I dove in, I thought, well, maybe something can heal the ADD, like the yoga had healed the colitis.
Ah, okay.
And so in Ayurveda is this vast sort of therapeutic approach. And so I tried herbs and diet and types of massage and types of meditation, and changed the yoga I was doing. And it worked. Over time I was more focused. able to write a book.
Wow, so it's like the end-all cure-all yoga, it seems like.
Well, for me it was. I actually do think it is the end-all cure-all, and I'm a zealot, you know, but I think for someone else it could be something else. It could be Tai Chi, it could be basketball, you know, there's lots of different solutions for people.
It's interesting how it worked for you, and now we could read the book that tells us exactly how.
Tells the whole story.
All right, Brian, it says you have a breathing exercise for me to do, which is good because I tend to be wound kind of tightly.
All right, this is a very simple breathing exercise, totally change your life. Whatever you have, it'll heal it. No, I was kidding.
All right, I like it. We'll give it a shot.
All right, so it's called the full three-part breath. Okay. And so a lot of times people only breathe with their chest. And actually breathing just with the chest can cause even a stress response. Whereas taking a full breath down into the diaphragm, using the full lungs, will actually trigger a relaxation response. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe a full three-part breath. And rather than going, we're going to start the breath down here. So we're going to push out our belly as we breathe. We're going to push out here and then push out here. And then we're going to relax the whole thing and just melt. Okay, you ready?
All right, I'll take your word for it here.
We're going to melt. Are you ready to melt?
Sure.
All right, first, inhale with the belly, push the belly out.
Okay.
Inhale with the chest. Filling up all the way up top. Full breath, hold for a second, and then release. Just let the whole thing pour out and melt. Relax. Let's do it one more time.
All right.
Inhale, belly, push it out. Inhale, middle here. All the way up into the chest, into the high chest. Fill it up as much as you can, and then just let it fall out and melt.
Oh, Brian, I feel so much better already. Thank you. I guess it's true, though. You have to remember to breathe throughout your day. Take the time out.
Some people say that's why people smoke, actually, is just to take a full, deep breath.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here, Brian. We're out of time. We can find the book on Amazon?
Absolutely. Anywhere books are sold.
All right. Very good. The name of the book again, Misadventures of a Garden State Yogi. Stay with us. More Connecticut Style after the break. We'll be right back.